All right. I think now it's 10 a.m. lah. So let me introduce myself. Yeah, my name is Zheng. I will be today's presenter with the topic of the Cisco DNA subscription software for switching. Right. So hope everyone is stay safe and stay well. And if you have any question later on, we encourage you to put your question in the chat box, and then me or my colleague will come to respond to you and help to answer your question. Right. Okay. So let us not to waste the time. So today, this is the agenda we're going to talk about. First, we will introduce what is the Cisco DNA, and then we will also talk about a little bit more in depth on the Cisco DNA software subscription for the switching part. So today, our focusing will be on the switching part. Then we will talk about the technical support model, and then smart account and smart licensing overview. And lastly will be the pricing. The pricing will be more on the list price. So we are showing how the traditional pricing structure versus our new latest Cisco DNA pricing structure. Right. Okay. So what is the Cisco DNA, and why today we need this Cisco DNA for today's IT and network? Why we need it in our organizations? So in the digital transformation era right now, we know that there is a lot of company or the customer there, or more organizations that actually already invest more in the IT equipment, right? They want to have the PC, laptop, for example, the printer and so on, the CCTV and so on. All these IT equipment on network device to help them to optimize their organization, right? To improve their the internal process, and also to hope that to benefit from their company, to actually give the customer experience, and also empower their employee to do work more efficiently and effectively. However, with the increase of the network equipment or network devices in the organizations, also increase the network challenge. That also will be increase the complexity of the network environments, right? So because why? Due to some massive data communication in the organization is communicate between each other, and result we need something called insight capability to see what is the traffic going on in the network environments, right? So in the way that we need something more powerful insight or tools with the capability to monitor, to see what is the happening in the network environments, and also they want something the tools to help them to reduce the complexity. Why? Because with a lot of the network equipment inside the organizations, they increase the complexity, and it will lead to, if there is something happen on the network, we will cause some slowness and error prone, right? Whereby the operator or the network administrator need more time to figure out the issues. And lastly will be the security part. The network in the traditional way, more towards to establish a network infrastructure to allow all PC, laptop, and IT equipment to communicate each other. When our human to utilize this PC to do our daily work. But something that we need to concern about is the security, right? Because due to dynamic threat landscape increasing year by year, so we need something tools or solution to help to do something prevention on the attack and the threat actors. So this is some key challenge for the traditional network, right? Firstly be difficult to segmentize, right? We with the more network, more type of user, with more different departments, endpoint, right? So we will need to do a more segmentation. For example, the IP segment and the VLANs, right? So it's very get harder to keep track of all these those group and IP segmenting. right? The second thing, we also hardly or very complexity to manage the entire network, right? Because there are many different type of user coming into the network and getting more complex to configure for each user, right? Multiple steps required to do in order to give the user credential and support in tiered connectivity choices, such as this employee or this staff it belongs to which department, and what is the business relevant and the irrelevance. And lastly is a slower issue resolutions, right? So as a user and diverse more around the network, often policy is not consistent, right? So maybe the policy for the department A or department B are different, because like for example, department A would be the financial, maybe the department B is the engineering. So they were having a different set of the policies, right? So if the policy is not consistent, it will make a difficulty to troubleshoot when there is something issue happening in the network. So the bottom line is, today the typical network does not meet the needs of the business and IT future. So customer require something digital ready network. In terms of we need more insight, more powerful insight and experience. We need some automation and assurance into our network, right, to increase the automation and the speed for scaling and accuracy. And of course, the important is the security and compliance, right, to ensure that the threat is detected and is detained in a real time. So with the Cisco, it's trying rewriting the entire game, right? Cisco, in the past, they do have the old traditional networking, but they will transform. They transform in the new way. We call it the more software-driven network infrastructure, right? So with the ability to automate, with the built-in security, and of course, to bring you the business insight, right? So if we combine these four criteria, we would like to introduce the Cisco DNA, right, as part of the new era of the networking infrastructures. Right. So this is the Cisco DNA. So what's new? So you can see from this the diagram, you can see firstly, you will see the Cisco DNA ready physical and virtual infrastructure. So for today's topic, we are talking about the switching. So almost we can say all switching from the C9200, 9300, 9400, 9500, even 9600, all these switches model support Cisco DNA, right? So they are DNA ready. Then moving forward, you will see the virtualization layer and automation and analytic. So these are the visualization part that we are talking about, something the called software-defined access and assurance, right? So this software-defined access and assurance is a solution to the Cisco DNA to provide a visibility base, automate end-to-end segmentation to separate user or department or device or application traffic without redesigning the underlying physical network devices. Right. So then the cloud service management. This is a more to the DNA, the Cisco DNA Center, which is a powerful network controller and management with the management dashboard to provide the administrator to easy to manage, control, and optimize the device in the environment. So the cloud service management also are able to help the administrator to do something work like the task like the update and upgrade the software continuously, or even the shifting the paradigm of the existing traditional network upgrade cycle that will be extended to a couple months or years. And then lastly, we combine all these together, we'll see the security is actually to cover this component inside. We introduce the ETA security, right? They'll talk about more detail in the ETA, right? The ETA is about to provide the invisibility enhanced mode into everything across the network, right? From branches to campus or even to the DC. So they're collecting this telemetry, even including the encrypted data. So scaling also support in the security, right? So in this layer, Cisco ready, we will see this is Cisco Catalyst 9000 series. And moving forward, you see the visualization, automation, analytic will be part under the software defined access and the assurance. Then with the encrypted network traffic, all this able to be managed, controlled by the Cisco DNA Center. So DNA Center is a hardware appliance that you can purchase to and then to be deployed in your network environment to help you to actually to manage and control your entire Cisco network facility, right? Not limited to switching, also expanded to the router in AP as well, right? Okay. So in the Cisco Catalyst 9000 family switch, today, what is the main difference, main uniqueness compared to the legacy Cisco switching product like the C2K, C3K, and C4K, even C6K? Actually, the Catalyst 9000, they do have integrated security features, right? They do have the mobility ready, even the IoT readiness, and support the cloud ready. Why? Because the Cisco, they do have their own homegrown SC chipset, which call it the Cisco Unified Access Data Plan, which is launched back in the 2017. Is actually to helping to provide the intent-based networking with the new hardware Catalyst 9000 family series. Right. So with the policy-based segmentation, able to configure into this portfolio of the switches by using the Cisco Unified Access Data Plan, UADP. Right. So it's a future-proof IC chipset, and it's a programmable Cisco with the Cisco it's an open and programmable Cisco IOS. Okay. So moving to the next is the software-defined access. So to look into detail of the Cisco software-defined access, this is a industry first policy-based automation from the edge to cloud. Right? No longer stay on the organization only, also expanded to the cloud. So in fact, Cisco is the only one to be able to deliver end-to-end segmentations, right, from the edge to the cloud, and also able to automate the user access policy, able to provide a single network fabric across a wireless switching, routing, right? So far I don't see any other vendors delivered of this same capability in their switching portfolio, right? So what do you get benefit from this Cisco software-defined access? It will allow you to go faster by accelerate the deployment and maintenance of the network to deliver a better connectivity, right? So using the Cisco DNA Center, you're able to deploy the equipment in the zero-touch deployments, and also maintain the entire network to give a better connectivity and service to the end users or customers. The second thing will be the segmentize the network, right? So we know that due to the many departments, so we want to shrink down the VLAN segment in order to improve some security. We don't want something the layer 2 like for example the broadcasting happen. We want more easy on the manage the security, like for example VLAN A cannot go to VLAN B. For example, department financial only can access to the financial server file, but the user in the engineering department unable to access into the file server that sit inside the financial segments, right? So this is to provide some security to prevent the traffic, unauthorized traffic, to access to the destination that is protected, right? So the security segment, the network is a part of the we are using the policy, right, to do the segmentations, and also extend from here is to keep the bad guy up from the unrelevant VLANs. For example, if we detect some the threat attack right inside the network fabric, so we're able to contend the attack is within a VLAN if we do proper VLAN segmentations, right? And then of course, ultimately we're able to see what is happening in our network. So we're able easily to troubleshooting and resolve the end user connectivity issue. So if a flat VLAN, for example, if organizations have a 13th floor and they only have a flat VLAN, only single VLAN. So when there is something looping happen, right, it will affect entire network. So the whole building network will be collapsed, right, because the broadcast stop. So with the VLAN come into the proper configure for these organizations, right? So we were able to retain the issue only happen on a particular segments. So easier for us to shrink down to effort just to focus on the specific VLAN and do some troubleshooting. So that is a good thing from the Cisco software defined access. And then with the Cisco Assurance, actually the Cisco Assurance is to provide a contextual visibility in the very rich contextual for the user applications experience, right? So it provides something like a historical or even a real time and a predictive insight across the user, device, and application happening in the network, right? So with the real-time telemetry capability, we'll be able to every second or every from time to time to notify the network operator for what is the network condition of the current network infrastructures, right? So this allows the administrator able to identify the root cause in the quick, right, and also provide a suggest remediation step for the faster and better troubleshooting, right? So DNA Center will be the main management tools with a single dashboard to actually for you to see with all the insight in the single data dashboard, and then you're able for you to drill down to see what is the happening on the particular traffics, right? So in this Cisco DNA Assurance also do have the machine learning or AI to support the monitoring, and it allow you to improve your network intelligence, in fact, to predict the problem faster. So Cisco DNA Assurance, we're able to see the insight. So we have the visibility, right? We have the insight to see more detail of the problem and automate, and then we can do some prediction by creating policy or even the new service to provide the protection to over the entire network, and then for you to be able to troubleshoot your entire network if there is attacks happen in the network environment. And lastly will be the Cisco DNA Center. Is as a centrally command and control for the intent-based network environments, right? So what is the intent-based networking? So it do have a controller inside the switches and available and able to expand your SDN the translation and activation with the assurance elements. So with the intent-based intent-based networking controller, you're able to manage by charge your network with a powerful IBM controller, and then to able to help you to view the network side in more granular with the detailed drill downs, right, on any device and any client in your environments. Then also will provide you the analytic and assurance. This one will be supported by the AI or machine learning. So you're able to what I call it, to combine this AI and machine learning to optimize your network performance, right? So in fact, reduce your time or your team's time to spend time for troubleshooting, and then of course we don't want to increase our cost manpower just to troubleshoot the issue, right? So So this is a very good thing from a Cisco lah. We do have the AI and the machine learning in this Cisco DNA, where we have the analytic and assurance features. And lastly will be the security and policy. This is a features allow you to actually to micro-segmentize and deploy your group-based policy and integrate your third-party network policy server as well, and then help you to able to breach instantly against the latest security threats. So this is a Cisco DNA Center. So by the way, it is a hardware appliance. It can be a virtual appliance, right? So, but in this case, we are showing the hardware appliance. This is Cisco DNA Center appliance, right? Sorry. Okay. So lastly will be the security. So we're talking about the security. So in ETA, it stands for the encrypted traffic analytic, right? So encryption technology has enabled the greater privacy and security for the enterprise, especially for the organization want to access to the branches, right? For HQ, the branches, they want to access these branches through the internet. So they want their traffic are encrypted and protected. So we call it the tunnel as a virtual private network tunnel. But the problem is that due to the dynamic trend landscape evolving, we also not guaranteed by this encrypted traffic actually is a very safe. It may contain the malicious in the payload, right? So even though we encrypt our network, but it do maybe exist with the malware. So we need a solution like the ETA is able to inspect this encrypted traffic, right? So not even on the to inspect on the encrypted traffic, we also do have some cryptographic compliance. Does it help you to check all this traffic, incoming traffic? Is it the TLS policy violation, or they do have the cipher suite vulnerability? They are using the weak cipher suites, right? So with the Cisco DNA, they will be providing the visibility and the malware detection without you to decrypt the entire traffic, right? So in fact, the traditional, the security appliance, they want to decrypt the content and then they inspect the content, then they will encrypt again and pass to the end destination. But in the Cisco DNA, we are able to do inspection without decrypt the entire packet, right? So this is powered by the Cisco network and StealthWatch. And now we call it the security analytic, no longer called StealthWatch. StealthWatch have a new name by the way, right? So this is the ETA for this part, right? So yeah, any questions so far? I just done on the Cisco DNA Center architecture. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Now we're talking about the Cisco DNA software subscriptions. So why we want a subscription? Right. Actually, the good thing from this subscription is you see the last thing, we call it the investment protection, right? With the Cisco DNA, it is an open 360-degree extensible platform approach. Together with the programmable network application specific integrated circuit, we call it ASIC, right? Will help ensure your Cisco DNA network, right, is always ready for the next innovation, such as the software-defined access, such as assurance, automation, and even the ETA. So why the subscription matter to customer? Right. So first, we will continue access innovation to keep your network savvy. Right. We will fasten your features at the fingertips. We will provide the evergreen security protection, and we will refresh the software. Right. If there is a new version of the software, we will able and then with the valid Cisco DNA subscription, we will allow you to download and upgrade your infrastructure network version, right, for the switch version. And then we also enhance the agility to make it IT nimble again. We don't want something bigger, but we want something nimble. So we can renew and scale your network on demand, right? because the licensing is not per device, it's configured to the device, right? So we also able to port your license and build and shorten the planning cycle. And of course, we optimize the financial planning to sharpen your IT spending, right? So we benefit from the linear, and also to give you the predictable expenditures, right? So also shift from capex to opex, right? We don't want to bring so much money to just to set up entire new equipment, but it's in a traditional way. And then we want to focus and put more money in the OPEX. We want the people and the machine to help us to monitor, automate, and do some remediation in case an attack exists in our network infrastructure, right? Then the next will be also to help you, the subscription help you to grow your business profitability. So we have a higher lifespan, we give you good value, lifetime value, we will continuous value delivery on the opportunity, right? As well as the free up time to expand and drive the adoption through the services. So later we will talk about how we can adopt the new different licensing, right? In the Cisco DNA, there are 3 tiers of the licensing, so we will introduce it later on. And then the strategic relevance, right? So we align with the mega trends of the cloud and the SaaS. So now today era, we're talking about cloud-based, the big data, and then we're also talking about the SaaS-based, right? So we no longer depends on the on-prem equipment, right? So we extend to the SaaS-based. So of course the land deal faster, right? And then at the end is we move into OPEX. We want to put our focus and able to manage our OPEX in the predictive expenditures, right? So this is why we need a subscription for this Cisco DNA. So in the Cisco DNA, we do a simplified packaging for the Cisco Catalyst 9000 families. You can see in the left side here, I think most of you are quite familiar with how the 3-tier packaging in the legacy Cisco C2K, C3K, C4K, right? They do have the 4 layer. The last layer we don't talk about, there's a landline. Just come with the limited layer 2 features. We're starting from the LAN base. So in the legacy 3-tier, we have a LAN base, and then moving to an IP base and IP services. But in the new simplified packaging, you look at the right-hand side. You see right-hand side is left-hand side is a LAN base, right? So in the right-hand side, you have the network essential. So what is essential in this case? Essential is giving you the full layer 2 features with some basic router access, and then combined together with the Cisco DNA Essentials. Like Essential is provide you to some simplified network operation management, right? Then moving another tier will be the advantage. So in the legacy, you will see the 2 tier called IP base and IP service, but in the new packaging structure, you will see only advantage. We call it network advantage. This network advantage already have a full layer 3 features, and then with the flexibility, segmentation, and the network resilience. And then on top, it will be the Cisco DNA advantage. So this will provide you more and more features. So let us look into the more details on the offer structure for the switching. So you will see Cisco DNA will have a three tier of the structure, right? So first tier will be the essential. So in the essential, what you're able to do is you have the centralized management features, and you're able to do some basic automation and monitoring, right? So in the same time, you have a full layer 2 router access. Then moving to the next level, the intermediate levels, is called Cisco DNA Advantage. So in this license structure, right, you will have more features from the Cisco DNA. You have the flexibility on the network segmentation. You have the assurance analytic, right? And then you have a Cisco. Are you able to have the Cisco Prime infrastructure to actually help you to monitor entire Cisco infrastructure? And then of course with all features from the Cisco DNA Essential, right? Then talking about the network capability on the equipment, we will have the full layer 3 routing capability. So you no longer need to buy, need to choose between the IP based or IP services. Right. So the last tier, this is everything in. We call all in. It's called Cisco DNA Premier. So in the Cisco DNA Premier, we add on. We do have the Cisco Eyes, the Cisco the stopwatch, right? The Secure Network Analytics, right? So we add on these two, and then combine with the Cisco DNA Advantage and the Cisco DNA Essential, all features inside. So this packet we call DNA Premier, right? While we maintain for the network equipment, we will still have a full layer 3 routing features, right? So let it drill down more in depth to the Cisco DNA Essential, right? So in the Cisco DNA Essential, we will have the basic automation, right? And then we have the basic assurance, right? So we will have the full telemetry, right? So in the Cisco Essential, you already have a full telemetry net flow. You're able to have a full visibility insight to see what is the context happening in your environment, network environment, right? And then for the network portion, we will have the all full layer 2 features, right? So that's only in a single SKU. Either you want the license terms are in the 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years. So moving to the Cisco Advantage, we have more features, right? So full sorry, I don't say full. It's a more advanced automation, including the SD access, the ETA, and then the application hosting, and so on. And then you have for the assurance and analytic, you have the compliance and report. Now you do have the reporting, right? You have the Cisco AI. Now you have AI to help you to inspect your network, to actually give you insight of the network in the AI, and using the machine learning to actually help you to remediate, right, the issue based on the policy that you set, right? And then of course in the advanced stage, these levels you already have a full layer 3 features. And I just want to highlight on you see here in my screen, we do have the advanced enhanced security control. We call it Max Security 256, right? So it's a IEEE 802.1 AE standard to allow the administrator to authenticate and encrypting the packet between the two max capable devices. So the last tier, this is called Cisco DNA Premier. So you have basically we call it all in, right? All in. Okay. So in the features like the telemetry, you see in the advanced and the Premier, they will have the ER span, ABC, and even support the Wireshark, right? So, but need to be aware, need to be take note that the star here, some ER span feature support on the 92, only support 9300 and 9400, but the rest does support. And then for the 2-star, sorry, this is 2-star, it's supported on the 9300 until 9600, not on the 9200. So we need to take note that some of the features, some Cisco's C9000 able to support, some not able to support. So do check to inspect in your network equipment in the environment first before you go and subscribe the right DNA license packet. Okay, so this is some comparison between the Advantage and the Essential. I won't go in depth. So if you need this information, we can share in the future, right? Okay. So I want to talk about the subscription term length. Cisco DNA subscription come in the form of 3 years, 5 years, and 7 years. Right. So you're able to choose 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years. Minimum is 3 years for the new purchase, right? But for renewal, they will start from the 1 year that you can see from here. So so once your DNA subscription already ended, so you want to renew a license, so you can able to renew in the 1 year terms, 1 year, and then or even 3, 5, or 7 years. So it up to your environment. See how long you want to renew your license. But to take note that in order to quote a 1 year renewal license, we will need to use a CCWR tools lah. So this is for your information. We need the CCWR tool to do the 1 year renewal on a Cisco DNA subscriptions. So next will be the give you the overview or entire how the software-defined access journey. So from the Cisco DNA, you have the couple of the features and the Cisco DNA features. Moving to the Cisco DNA Advantage with the software-defined access and the analytic, and then the Cisco Premium, all security part of the Cisco DNA Premium license. So this is the overview. Okay, then moving to the technical support model. In the technical support model, we are separate in the two layer. The first layer, which is called ground layer, is called solution support. So we do exist in two forms. One is a Smart Net Total Care, SNTC, and the other called partner support services. This will come into more engaging in the support service from the Cisco, right? So these two, either SNTC or the PSS, we able to subscribe for the hardware with the network essential and advantage, right? Similarly to the other layer, we call it either you subscribe to Cisco DNA Premier or Cisco we call it the essential and advantage. You will need to buy either SNTC or the partner support services, right? So only thing when you're moving into the Cisco DNA, you're able to select between Cisco Essential Advantage or the Premier, right? So we will select the Premier, will have more and more features. So let me move into the next slide. That what feature you can have from these technical support options. So E-LLW, we call it the Cisco Enhanced Limited Lifetime Warranty. With the C9K Enhanced Limited Lifetime Warranty, we have the warranty for 90 days of Cisco tech support, local business hour, right, for F5. So we have all these basic support features. But when we will buy the SNTC, right, SNTC for network stack, we will have the more engaging and more comprehensive warranty support. So you have the operating system, software update and upgrades, 24/7 product technical support, 24-hour access to Cisco online resources, and so on. And then moving to the last, you see the last column here. This is the Cisco solution support. We will have all these warranty supports, right, including the primary point of contact for the self-service support. You have a more faster engage from the engineer support. You have the primary point of contact, right? So you're also able to coordinate the Cisco tech and solution partner product immediately, right? So it will give you more facility and more hub that you needed to avoid that your operation are being suspended or disrupted, right? So this is the different tier of the warranty support that you can buy. You can select lah, basically. So yeah, so for the ordering experience, we are using a single hardware SKU. So for the network essential, you look at the left-hand side and the bottom with the SNTC. Let's say you want to buy a Cisco 9300E with the network essential with the universal image, right? So this one, universal image is iOS image. So when you select the SNTC, you can select the Cisco DNA Essential. Why is Cisco DNA Essential only? Because this is a 9300E. E stands for Essential. So moving forward, the Advantage. So you need to select the 93 Advantage, right? So with the Advantage, you're able to subscribe the Cisco DNA Advantage in 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years terms. Or even you can buy the Star Wars ISE, right? The ICE in a la carte basis. Or otherwise, you buy the Cisco DNA Premium, So with the Cisco 9300A, you can select either Advantage or Premier, right? So this one, and then we'll look at the distributor motion, right? So of course for the switch level, we will based on the stock level. But if talking about the licensing, the DNA license is a direct ship, right? We purchase and we direct ship. Okay, now we turn into we look into the Cisco Smart Licensing and Smart Account. So Cisco Smart Licensing is different. Why? First, it gives the licensing flexibility, which means that the software is no longer locked into the devices, right? So it allows the license able to transfer from an equipment from a device to another device, right? This is very different from the traditional license, which is locked to a specific device. Second will be easy activations. So approve of the license to ensure they can be used across the entire company, right? Later we have the some use case, one use case, how this activation can be utilized, and then how many license we can use. If let's say we buy a 5 license, but we only use 1, so how we can use the other remaining 4, right? So this is some mobility and flexibility for us to activate on the node that we want, right? Then lastly will be the simplicity. Smart License is being standardized across all Cisco product. So we have a Cisco DNA Essential, Advantage, and Premier, right? You can apply on from the Cisco C9300 until C9600, right? So it gives you almost simplicity on the licensing, entitlement, and the management. So this is the use case we're talking about. So how does the smart license work? Right. So you look at the ownership here. First, you will purchase a license, right? So in this case, the example is a big university. So this customer, they buy a license, right? 5 license. So in the 5 license, right? So during in their initial product configuration, they will configure a token, right? A token, the 5 license. So they take 1 token and entered into the device that they turn on. So it registered that the token with the device into the smart account, right? So it tells that the smart account, this token now is belongs to these specific devices, and then how many license were you using? So in this case, only 1 license using, right? So you look at the left hand side. So with the smart licensing, right? Because only 1 license using. So and this license is configured to the devices. So we still have a remaining 4 license to be ready to be let you configure to the another network devices that you want to utilize this DNA license, right? So whichever you configure to the specific device or not, but you already have the smart account to actually help you to monitor the licensing. So when you already apply a license in your Cisco devices in the environment, and let's say in this big university, you will have the wording appear in the dashboard called in compliance, right? So this is how the smart licensing will work. So moving to the next will be the access and manage Cisco software license, right? So with the using the Cisco Smart License, right? And then you also have a valid smart account. So from a smart account, allow you to organize all the license, right? Based on your business needs, right? So you're able to manage your license, and you can able to transfer anytime that you want that you need, right? And then also provide a simple management and visibility into everything that you own. So and then moving to the bottom, you see the Cisco Smart Software Manager, CSSM, is actually an activate your Cisco license, right? So you need to access to this intuitive portal to activate the license, and this is the added on-prem version. So smart account, just now we're talking about the licensing, now we're talking about the smart account. So any one of you can set up a smart account on the customer behalf, right? So but before you start, you need to have a valid an active Cisco ID to request and access your smart account. So even not a person authorized, right, to activate the smart account on the company behalf, for example. So you need to know who is the one who has the authorized Cisco ID, and then to get their email address. But of course, you need the agreement from the particular employee or staff who hold the active Cisco ID. Right. So once you have the Cisco ID, right, the active and valid Cisco ID, you want to set up the partner holding account. So what you need to do is that you go to request to an existing smart account, right? So it help you to either you will start from a new account, or you can actually you can start to activate the license in the existing SA, right? The other thing I want to mention is the partner holding account, right? So in the partner holding account is the same thing, right? So you will select what you need to do is in the smart account, you need to select the request a partner holding account. That's it, right? So yeah, this is either you can help your customer to set up a new smart account, or you have you want to the access to the existing smart account, or you want to help to your partner, right? Okay, so for the smart account value, yeah, we'll bring the value to a customer for directly to see Cisco software assets. We'll bring some value to your field AM and SE, right? And the customer network operation side, operation team, and then the partner and the support. Okay, lastly is the pricing. You will see in my slide here, we will have the comparison between the traditional platform and the essential and advanced platform, right? So we are taking the C9K for 3 years, right? So you see in the in the essential, for example, you see in the traditional platform, you see the land base, the blue color. The land base, when you buy the 3-year terms, so you see in the middle essential on the Catalyst 9000. So network essential with the Cisco DNA essential, right? So we'll have 3 years. So you have a same pricing, but also when you have the features, everything that you used to have, you should have. But when you buy the 5-year terms and 7-year terms, when you compare back to the only 3-year terms, but in the different tier for the traditional platform, you see it's very more cheaper, right? So this is applied for the essential case. But when you're moving into the DNA case, for the 3-year terms, because we have a full layer 3 features. So you can see the IP service in the traditional platform are only able to have the full layer 3. You will have the ISRS, BGP, and full OSPF 14 protocol, right? So you need to subscribe the IP service. But with the license in the Cisco DNA Advantage, you already have all these features, layer 3 features. So you see the pricing also reduced, right? It's a little bit on par with the IP base when you compare to a traditional platform, right? So if you want to buy a 5-year, 7-year, also not much increase, right? So this is very interesting part that Cisco actually, even though they have a new pricing structuring from the licensing from the traditional into the Cisco DNA, but the licensing terms, the licensing is actually cheaper than the traditional. So we're moving to the 3-year TCO comparison, right? We know that the Cisco DNA already is more cheaper, but how cheaper when we compare when we want to buy devices, for example, in this case is C9300 Advantage level edition with the 48 port. So you want to see what is the pricing difference between the essential Advantage and the premium. So we'll see that at the most right hand side, the term cost of ownership, right? You see the price on the hardware is the same. The price on the SmartNet total cap also same, but the DNA is only 1,100 US dollar. This is the list price. And then moving the advantage, you add some. Because of the DNA, we add some features. You have the advanced visibility, advanced management on the Cisco DNA Advantage. So that is a slightly increase in the price. And then Cisco Premier, add it at another level of the security product like the ICE and the Snapwatch or security analytic. Right, so this is the 3-year terms of pricing for the Cisco 9300. And lastly is the 5-year. 5 years will be similarly, you will have the price same at the hardware and support level. Across you either using Cisco DNA Advantage or the Premier, right? But we're talking about the Cisco DNA, there is some difference. But you can see that the 3-year terms and 5-year terms on the Cisco DNA Essential is not much difference. You can see actually this is 3-year terms, only 1,100 US dollar. But in the Cisco DNA for 5-year terms only increase another $630. So it's increased, but not that drastically increased. So you see this is very low TCO, right? Right. So this is basically the entire of my presentation on the Cisco DNA. Let me go back to the agenda. Sorry. Okay. So I already introduced you on the Cisco DNA architecture. I also introduced the software subscription on the switching C9K. I also introduced you the technical support. We have the PSS or the SDNC, and then we have the smart account and smart licensing, and then pricing structure. Okay. Yeah. So I'm finished here. Any questions so far want to ask? We still have about 8 minutes to go. Let me see any question in the chat box. I see. Okay. Okay, I don't see any question. Right. So I hope everyone is have something taken back today, where hope that you understand what is the Cisco DNA and then how is the pricing structuring. So in short, that when we buy the C9K switch, either 9200, 9300, even up to 9600, we definitely need to include the Cisco DNA, So starting from the essential. So depending on the model, we will start from the essential, right? So but if your environment do not need to use the Cisco DNA, maybe for now, but don't worry, if you buy, you still have it. And this is cheaper It is still cheaper. So don't worry on the pricing. In fact, the old or traditional legacy the devices like C2K or C3K, they're even more expensive if you want to compare 3 year to 3 years, right? The C3K with the C9300s, right? So we will see the C9K is even more cheaper. Okay, so that is a good thing from a Cisco C9K, right? So if there is no question, I think we can end the session now. Anything want to add on from the Day and William? William?
Okay, nothing from me.
All right, great. How about William? William is our Cisco vendor SE.
Yeah, I think everything is good. Okay, so great presentation from Zheng. So for you guys, for you all out there, if you guys do have any questions, to reach out to either Ingram or me. But anyway, how they will actually link us all together. So if you have any question regarding the license, again, or do you need any clearer understanding or any more further details, to reach out to us, because I believe some of you might be shy to ask any of the questions since this is a online enablement. Okay, so but do let us know if you have anything opportunity or question in the future. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, William. Okay, if there's about our presentation and some words from the William and the Day, right? So we conclude here, and thank you so much for attending these sessions, and we hope to see you again. Right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.